So, y'all know I rarely do night shows, but something has been on my heart, okay, since early this afternoon. So, we have to talk about something, okay? We have to talk about something. Now, the title of this foolery tonight, okay? Let's be clear. The title of this foolery tonight, my heart is heavy. The title of this foolery tonight is Carmelo Anthony, was he really in the wrong? We're going to discuss that tonight. Now, I'm already ready for bed. Okay, so I'm not dressed up. I'm already ready for bed. But I had to come in and talk to y'all. I'm barefaced. Say whatever you want to say about me tonight. I don't care. Okay, so let's get into the discussion. Shout out to Young Black and Wealthy because he had dropped a clip of Charleston White. Okay, he dropped a clip of Charleston White talking about Carmelo Anthony and Carmelo Anthony's father. Okay, and we talk about children who are monsters a lot on my platform. I always tell y'all that we have to get rid of these ones who are monsters in our community. You know what I'm saying? I always say that. But let's bear in mind that other cultures have monsters in their community. Would you say a child is a good child if they fight their father and they break his arm? Would you say that? Would you say a child is a good child if they break their father's arm? Mm. If they disrespect their father. But also, if the father didn't raise the children, what would you say? Would you give the child leadway because the father didn't raise them? So if they disrespect the father, is it okay? Mm-hmm. 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 So let me share something with y'all. The thing that we didn't think about when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, okay, is that we didn't think about if there's another story. Because mhm, social media painted a narrative of Carmelo Anthony being the monster. But what if, what if, okay? What if he was not the monster? What if he was the child that was quiet and asked for permission to sit under, okay? Asked permission to sit under the tent, and the coach said, okay. That's from what we know, right? That he sat under the tent after the coach said it was okay. But you have two twin boys who are known bullies, and they begin to approach Carmelo Anthony. And from what the story Charleston White said, this is all alleged. But from what Charleston White said, is that Carmelo never had a knife. So how did Austin Metcalf get stabbed if Carmelo Anthony never had the knife? So now, this is the uncomfortable story that none of us want to have. Okay? Can you hear me well? Because I see a lot of y'all putting question marks in the chat. Can you hear me well? Some of y'all saying, what the hell? So, can you hear me? Let me know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, listen. Don't be getting in here cracking on my English, okay? Yes. Now I always tell you I got a Jersey. It's Jersey mixed with Southern, okay, and some Ebonics, okay. So I'm doing the best I can. Don't get in here and crack on my English, okay. So this is the uncomfortable truth. Charleston White came to social media, and he said he talked with Carmelo Anthony's father. And so he found out that Austin Metcalf and the brothers were never raised by their father, that he never took care of them, that the mother raised them on their own, on her own, and that they are known bullies, that people fear them because they're really big guys and they play for football. Most of the time when children play football, they're usually big anyway, because our son, he looks like a titan. So I know I'm going to offend some people about what I'm saying tonight, but I don't care. One thing about me is that if I find out something and if I'm wrong about it in the beginning and I find out the truth or I find out some information about it, I'm going to always come to my platform and tell it. I'm not one of those content creators that I'm going to stand by foolery. If I find out something else about the situation, I'm going to come and speak about it. So I may lose following tonight. I don't care. Okay? Okay? Now I keep telling YouTube that only grown folks can be in my chat. Only grown folks can be in my chat. Baby, if you say I look like a mugshot, baby, then scroll up, baby. I always tell people this is grown folks conversation. No children are allowed in the chat, baby. Okay? Okay, I don't want to offend you, but if my face hurt you, scroll up, baby. Okay? Just want to let you know. Go eat some crackers and some, drink some milk, Go sit down, all right? Okay, thank you. Next. So now this is the uncomfortable truth. When I heard this about Carmelo Anthony and the father was talking to Charleston White, Charleston said, I have to come back and apologize to the family because I thought that Carmelo Anthony was some, monster and some gangster. And he said, Carmelo Anthony is some small little guy. He's some small little guy. And he said the Metcalf twins look like, they look like behemoths. Okay, they big. Now, I understand because our child plays football. He looks like, he's like 18. He looks like he's a real big guy. But he's only 14. So I understand when he said that. And I was like, oh my God. All the while, Taki was thinking that these was some small boys doing this nonsense. And when people were saying, I was like, nah, that can't be, because the age. But then I had to think about it. And I'm like, no, because our son is a big guy too. So now when I heard this, and they said that Metcalf, okay, Austin Metcalf, had broke his father's arm before. They said that these twins be whooping on that daddy. So this is why probably the daddy came out and said that he forgive Carmelo because he know his sons are problems, which he created because he wasn't in their life to guide them. Now, this is all alleged because this is coming from Charleston. When we get into the groove of the court system, then all this truth will come out about what really happened. Because the CCTV footage doesn't, all these content creators is like, oh, the CCTV footage is good. They're lying. They're lying. The CCTV footage is across the way, okay? across the entire, like another part of the field, and they can't see what's really going on. They see a big, they don't see anything like they couldn't see what was going on in the big scuffle between Carmelo and the brothers and stuff like that. So all these stories people are putting out that are content creators, they don't know the whole truth. Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not greeting anybody tonight. I apologize for that. Just wanted to come in and talk about this because it was on my heart. But greetings to everybody that is in the chat. I greatly appreciate y'all stopping by. Okay, but since it was on my heart, we have to talk about it. Okay, so this is the thing. We talk about monster children all the time that are not raised with men of substance. This is what we talk about on this platform. And we point at the melanated children. But also there are Caucasian children that are not raised with their fathers. Remember now, Caucasian women are 13% baby mamas. So we only talk about the melanated children missing the daddy, but also, of course, there's other races that miss the daddy too. But now we see why Metcalf's father was willing to forgive so easily, because his sons allegedly are troublemakers. Okay? Because even the boys whoop on him. Now, the one that got sent to glory, okay, he broke his father's arm. And I told y'all that earlier already. But anyway, let's go straight to what Charleston White was saying. Okay? Let's go straight to what Charleston White was saying. Because let's be clear. The Bible says your days will be counted shorter. And when you get in here, you disrespect your mother and your father. Let's be clear. Okay? And I know a lot of y'all that I have a mixed group of people who follow me, and some of y'all may be offended by what I'm saying. But one thing about Take Heed is that I don't give two shits if you offended. Yeah, I don't care. The truth is the truth. Okay? So if this bothers you, the way that I'm talking, baby, please unsubscribe to my channel. Unsubscribe, because if I find out the truth, if I find out something that adds to something that I have not known about the situation, Take Heed is going to come back and I'm going to say it. I'm not one of those content creators that's going to sit on it because maybe I'm going to offend my audience. I don't care. I don't care. That's the problem with us too, because we're scared to tell the truth because you don't want, you don't want your channel to drop. You want people to continue to follow you, but I also want people to understand the truth. So now let's go right over to what Charleston White had said. Shout out to Young Black and Wealthy. Here we go.
Time to apologize to Carmelo Anthony's family. Man, I was always wrong about that kid. I was always wrong about that kid, homie. I've been meeting his father regularly, and I had opportunity to talk, peace and love. He go beat these charges. I was under the impression that he brought a knife to school, so I'm taking a knife to school. Fuck him. He didn't take a knife to school. He didn't even know these two white boys. These two white boys just came over there because he was with another kid that knew those white boys. So he a new black kid who he big old white boys, big white boys. He a small frame kid. One of the white boys was on that side, one of the white boys on that side. So either way go, they had him locked in. And these are big white boys. These are some big, violent, aggressive white boys who got guns. And not only that, the one he killed whooped their dad. See, the daddy coming into the picture playing like he been around. The dad ain't been around. We would think the black dad ain't around. The white dad ain't around. The mother don't even identify the daddy as the husband. So he must have been an abusive father. He ain't even been in their life. So he just come and get the light. He just come and get the light. So he'll low down dirty crowd. His sons are bullies. They bullied on the kid. They no, because he's black. Get him up under the chin. Man, y'all tripping. I ain't going nowhere. And they got a reputation of beating up people. The one he had to stab, he broke his daddy's ligaments. Big old strong crowd. He should have killed both of them. He should have killed both them Pepperwoods with a that's minding his motherfucking business. That don't bring harm to nobody. This kid ain't a bad kid. These bully white boys just fuck with the black baby. So now they trying to make it about race. No, it ain't about race. Justice was served when he killed that cracker. Self-defense. And the reason I say that is, anybody can go see the video. Why do you think the media outlets ain't promoting to go see this video? You can go up to the school and see it. And if you go up to the school and see it, we all see this kid will be found not guilty. Sarah Fields and the father and somebody who works for the court have been releasing Carmelo Anthony's family information to Sarah Fields. She's been putting it online, and the white folk been going, so they've been having to move. All those lines made up, they can't even get the GoFundMe money. So they hadn't even they can't even touch the Go. So they just trying to smear a campaign, but that's what the tackler do. I want to take the time to apologize.
So now I'm gonna share something with you. I will never sit up here and call somebody saltine. You know what I'm about to say. I would rather call them Caucasian. And I'm gonna share something with you. I don't think that anybody should have been sent to glory. Okay? I don't think anybody should have been sent to glory. Let's be clear. I don't think nobody should have been sent to glory at all. Okay? Let's be clear about that, because at the end of the day, these are all children. These are all children. I don't think anybody should have been sent to glory. Now, the way Charleston White tells the story is that both of the boys blocked him from getting away. So one on this side, one on that side, and they about to, tear Carmelo Anthony apart, okay? Because he's under the tent. Now, the courts are releasing the family's whereabouts to whoever, okay? Somebody who works in the court system is releasing the family's address so people can find out where they are. But I don't know if that is really true, because you can Google anybody's address. You know what I'm saying? You can Google anybody. As long as you have their legal name, you know what I'm saying, their government, you can Google anybody and find out where they actually live. Now, you know what I'm saying? You can do that. But when I hear this part of the story, you know what I'm saying, I still look at it as these are children. This should not have happened at all. And the coach should have been there to stop this nonsense in the first place. You understand? There should have been some adults around that this shouldn't happen at all. That's just my take on it, okay? But now, everybody on social media was talking about Carmelo Anthony family got that GoFundMe money. But now, we know they didn't get it. Okay, the money was not released to the family. Everybody on social media, all the content creators, I did not respond to that foolishness when I heard it. I was like, that doesn't make sense, because people were saying, oh, they used the money to buy the house and the car. Mind you, they had already had the house and the car. But then somebody said, oh no, the mother and father is on Section 8 and this and that in the beginning. Y'all remember when the story first dropped. And I was like, that's not a Section 8 house. Mind you, I live in Jersey, so I know what Section 8 houses look like. I know what the government will pay and what the government won't pay for a house. They will not. The way the house looked, I was like, there's no way the government pays for a house like that. Most of the time, they pay for those older ones, okay? They're not going to pay for like a brand new one unless they built it themselves. Like they knocked down a government area like they used to be the projects or something like that, and then they start putting up these small houses and stuff like that, but not a house that looked like that. So I was skeptical when y'all all was like, oh, they use this money to buy the house and the car and all that stuff, and the father car was not even new. So I was like, nah, he just cleans it, got it sparkling like most black men do when they have a car. They get out there and buff out the car. But a lot of y'all was talking about they bought that stuff, and then the family never received the money. They never received the money. So this is why the family needs a public defender, because they never received that money. But everybody was saying, oh no, they received the money. They didn't get the money. So because everybody telling all these stories, and so they not able to get that GoFundMe money. Okay? So now they have to get a public defender for their son. And everybody was upset with them, the melanated community, because we didn't check anything. A lot of people was upset with them, saying, oh, they just walked their son into the devil's lair and all this other stuff, because why would they get a public defender? But when we don't know the whole story, we'll get up here and get upset. Everybody on social media was wilding out about them getting a public defender, even me too. But I didn't come to social media with it. I was telling my husband, like, why would they leave this boy with a public defender? Okay, that doesn't make sense. But it's because the family has not received that GoFundMe money. So all these lies that we're hearing on social media from other content creators, because they're pushing the narrative. You understand? They're up here pushing it because it's better ratings. Do you understand? You have more following when you push the lie. Okay? All the content creators that I follow, they doing the same thing too. They're pushing the lie. But I said, let me just sit back and watch. So now you have Charleston White, who actually went to go see the family. And I don't know if y'all know, but Charleston White used to be an activist. He still is, but he doing ghetto nonsense now, but he's still telling the truth. But he used to be, when he first started out, he was an activist for the melanated community. And he tried to do everything upright. Okay? He tried. But then he found out that if he get in there and act hood like some of y'all Negroes do, okay, that he'll get more traction, which is true. Which is true. Okay? So that's what he did. Okay? Okay. Why you say hold off a little minute? What happened? So allegedly, this is alleged, because I don't want to get in here and be like, yeah, this is the gospel truth, because this is what Charleston White had put out. Okay? So now we know why Karmelo Anthony got a public defender, because the family never received this money. The family has to move around because it's not safe for them. Okay? So this whole town is against them because they done, Karmelo Anthony had took out one of their children. Okay? Let's be clear. Okay? We want to the hard truth about this whole thing is that this is just a whole bunch of racism. I know it's painful, because in the beginning I was like, this is bullying. I was saying it's bullying. These two children, they did nonsense. This is what I was looking at as a mama, that this is just bullying. But when you go deeper into it, this is racism, because why would the address get leaked? Okay? Why would the address get leaked of this family? That they're threatening this family. When the mother herself mother and father know that their children were nightmares. I'm sorry. This is the uncomfortable truth. I don't like to talk ill of the dead. But if your children are monsters, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it if your children are monsters? It's the parents' fault. If your children grow up to terrorize other kids, it's your fault. Do you understand? If you raising children and they grow up to terrorize other children and to terrorize the community, parents, it's your fault. It's the way you raise them. I always tell y'all, and I will sing this to the heavens. Boys need their fathers. They need their fathers. I don't care how much you dislike this man. Boys need their fathers. They need that structure. Do you know how it feels for a man to get whooped by his own son? Allegedly, Metcalf's father, Mr. Metcalf, his son beat him and broke his arm. Alleged. This man knew that his boys is a problem. He has never been in their life. Alleged. The mama doesn't even acknowledge him. And I knew something was strange when they was on Good Morning America, that she didn't even acknowledge the father that time. And who do I blame for the boys being the way they are? I blame the mother and the father. I blame both. Because now the other twin will have to live without his brother. And live with the truth that they started the cold conflict with Carmelo Anthony. Do you understand? So now the thing is, my melanated brothers and sisters, even though we're finding out bits and pieces, it's going to be up to a jury to either free this boy or send him down the river. The thing is, nobody is promoting the video. Just like Charleston White said, nobody is promoting, let's see the video, let's see the video. They have not even released the video into the public. All the content creators are like, we saw it, you didn't see anything. They haven't released anything. Now, I want to share something with y'all. The question is, how did Carmelo Anthony get the knife? How did he? See, because we assumed that he had the knife on him, but he did not have the knife. So in the scuffle, where did the knife come from? Do you understand? Where did the knife come from? Now, the CCTV footage that they did release, you can't see anything. If you know anything about CCTV, those old ones, okay? That's what they're saying, that it's one of those old ones that the footage is not good. So more than likely, they probably need somebody to get in here and dissect the video so they can actually see what happened. So now the question still remains, where did the knife come from? Because we all assume, okay, we all assumed that Carmelo brought the knife with him, but he didn't have a knife. So where did it come from? Where did the knife come from? You have a young man that weighs about 100 and something pounds, okay, Carmelo Anthony. You have two boys that weigh about 2 something. That is ready to tear Carmelo Anthony apart. One is on one side, one is on the other side. No child will win that fight. But where did the knife come from? I'm not making excuses for anybody. Nobody should be deleted. Children, this is the most horrible thing that a parent could ever go through, that their child gets sent to glory. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, Loretta says the news said his backpack, but Charleston White said he never had it. He never had it. So there's a false narrative running around here. There's a false narrative running around here. Charleston White said he directly talked to the family that the boy never had a pocket knife. That's the problem. So where did the knife come from? In the scuffle, did somebody drop a knife or something like that? And then he picked it up trying to protect himself? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Loretta. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want, listen to me. One thing I understand about Charleston is that this man is the type of man, and I don't like everything Charleston say, but Charleston is the type of man that he don't give a damn. If he find out something, he gonna come tell it. So we gonna have to just see what really happened between these children. Now, mind you, listen, my heart goes out to both families. Take heed will never get in here and condone anything. You understand? My heart goes out to both families. I'm not gonna condone anything. But Loretta, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that, honey. But the thing is that the whole situation is horrible. Do you understand? The whole situation is bad. No matter how we slice it or whatever. But on this channel, we always talk about the children who are monsters that do nonsense in our community. And when their fathers are not around, they grow up not being stable. A lot of women believe that they can raise children. You understand? That's the thing y'all get messed up on. These children that y'all say y'all raise, you forget that they grow into men. Okay? You understand? Y'all forget that they're going to grow into men. And if you are not a man, you don't know what a man walks look like. You don't know what a man walk looks like. There is rage in boys. There's a rage in boys. Because listen, I'm going to share something with you. If the owner's manual is not in the home, that's the father. If the owner's manual is not in the home to calm that rage, boys can be monsters when they grow up. They can, girls too. If they do not have the father in the home that is structuring the home, that is balancing the home, the children can grow into monsters in the community and tear up the community. This is what is happening in the black community. The same thing that I talk about all the time. This is what is happening in the black community because the fathers are not there to structure these children. And the same men who are not there to structure their children, their fathers was not there for them. So just like we talk about the melanated community not having fathers, that goes for every other community as well. If the father is not raising these children, there's no structure. Do you know boys easily walk over their mamas? Y'all be acting like that don't happen. Some of y'all get on social media and be like, yeah, I could raise boys. How dare y'all get in here and say I can't raise boys. This is a problem. There's a certain point in these teenagers' life, these boys, that they get to challenge the grain. Do you understand? They get to challenge the grain because they want to see how far they can go. Okay? I want y'all to understand that. I want y'all to understand that boys have a certain time where they're ready to challenge the king. Every man in this chat right here, y'all tell me if I'm lying. There's a point where every boy get to challenge, ready to challenge the king. And the king meaning the daddy. That they think they could whoop the daddy ass because they tower over the daddy. Every child does this. Them boys out the gate get nasty with the daddy. Because they think they could beat the daddy. Out the gate, they get nasty with the daddy because they want to see how far they can go with the daddy. You ever see sometimes the kid, that maybe like the daddy and the child be in the backyard, they playing a little bit, you know. And because the boy is bigger, he think he could, you know, box with the daddy. So they do a little slap box. And the boy hit the daddy like a little hard, like, you know, like he about to fight him in the street. And then the daddy got to do a two-piece, bow, bow, hit him like in the chest. And then the boy stepped back. He said, Dad. He said, no, because, you know, that last hit, you was trying to try me, so I had to teach you. Okay? You understand? So every boy does this. I don't care what color the child is. Every boy does this. So now, check this out. Allegedly, the Metcalf twin, okay, Austin, who was the young one who was sent to glory, may his soul rest in peace. Because Take Heed is not going to be out here and be ruthless because these are children. You understand? I can't be like, oh, that's good. I'm not one of those. I'm a mama. You understand? I'm a mama. So I can't be like, oh, this was good that what happened to him. This is a horrible nightmare. Okay? This is a horrible nightmare for both families. So now, when he allegedly broke his daddy's arm, okay? Now he understands he could whoop the daddy ass. See, if a child know that they can do something to the daddy, now they don't fear the daddy. They don't fear the daddy. So now when you call the daddy for anything, the child immediately like, I don't fear him. I'll do whatever I want to do to him. This is why when the daddy get challenged, let's be clear, when the daddy get challenged, that's why the daddy got to go hard on the boy. Because you're challenging him and he brought you here. You understand? So that's why when the daddy get ready to do something with the boy, he got to hit him. He got to hit him. Take heed to the message, does not support violence. Okay? Let's be clear. But the daddy has to show the boy that I'm not playing with you. Okay? Every boy child does this, and the girl children do it too. But they do it to the mama. They do it to the mama. Because I have to challenge the kingdom. You understand? And so now you have two twins who were not raised with their father. They were not raised with their father. The mama raised them on her own. And what we usually do when you're a single mother, okay, you put your children, the boy children, you put them in an activity to try to curb that anger, okay? All of us do it. I don't care what color you are, we all do it, okay? If the father is not around, we all do it. We all put them in some type of sport to try to curb that anger, get that anger out of them. Because I'm going to share something with you. Boys go through more torment going to school than girls do. Because the world expects them to always rise above the madness. But it is hard when they are children, especially if they don't have a strong structure at home. You understand? If they don't have a strong structure at home, these boys will be lost. The thing is that a boy child is more disadvantaged than the girl child. You wanna know why? And I know this is mean what I'm about to say, but Girl children get pampered. They get pampered. They will always get that love, the hug, the kiss, and everything like that. Mama love you, daddy love you. The boy child will be the one that get the most mistreatment. And it's not like you intentionally doing it. You're setting him up to understand the world don't give a damn about him. Do you understand? See, men understand that when they get older. You understand that nobody gives a damn. They learn that when they get older, they understand. But this is the thing. If they have a father in their life when they're young, the father will teach them. So when they get a certain age, they already know. Because see, some young men, they don't know that the world don't give a damn about them until they get about 18, 19, sometimes 20, 21. So it's a whirlwind if they were not raised with their father. So they don't understand. So they grow up with a mama logic. You understand? Like, if I snap out and I start acting crazy, because that's what we women do. Let's be clear. When something is not right, we sometimes go Karen, okay? Let's be clear. Sometimes we go Karen, okay? But a man knows if he go flipping out, he know all hell gonna break loose. So he has to use his logic. That's how you can tell a man who was raised by a man with a king mindset. You can tell a man if he was raised by his father. And you can tell a man when he was not raised by his father. You can tell the difference on how their logic runs. Okay? Let's be clear. Let's be clear of that. Okay? I know I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but this is the truth. This is the uncomfortable truth. If a man is raised with his father who has a king mindset, he is a better man than the one who is not raised with the father. See, the one who is not raised with the father had to go through life and make all these foolish mistakes. And sometimes they have to be sent off to the military. But one thing I do love about young men is that when they find out that their programming is off, okay? Let's be clear. Because children who are not raised with the father, their program will be off. Some of y'all ladies don't give me no hate because this is the uncomfortable truth. When they're not raised with their father, the programming will be off. And eventually they find out something is wrong. So now when they find out that this is wrong, they either go to the military or they get under some brothers who got a different mindset than them, that maybe they were raised by their fathers. So they mimic the brothers who are doing the right thing. This is the same thing in the Caucasian community as well. Okay? If you've been raised around your mama and you got your mama logic, you are a nightmare. You are a nightmare because you got the programming of a woman in your mind. Don't get mad with me. This is the truth. You got the programming of your mother mindset and not a man mindset. Because really, if you think about it, what was the big deal of Carmelo Anthony being under the tent? What was the real problem of him being under the tent? From what Charleston said, there was another Caucasian boy that brought Carmelo Anthony and told him, come sit under the tent. And Carmelo Anthony asked the coach, could he sit under the tent? The coach said yes. So what was the problem? See, the mother tried to allude to, let's understand. The mother tried to allude to that, oh, they had their bags and stuff, that Carmelo could have been taking something from their bags, alleged. But the coach granted him access under the tent. Excuse me. So the coach said it was okay. So let's be clear. If the Metcalf twins had logic from a man with a king mindset, would that have really bothered them that Carmelo Anthony was under the tent? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Would that have really bothered them that Carmelo Anthony was sitting under the tent, if they had logic from their father, who would have had a king mindset. Don't worry, you don't even have to tell me. I already know. It wouldn't have bothered them. It wouldn't have bothered them. Some of y'all can get upset. You can get mad all you want. That's your business. But we have to go into depth into this stuff. You understand? We have to actually find out the truth of what really happened. Once again, my condolences to the family. I never want to see children be sent to glory. That's a painful situation. But my sisters of every color, y'all have to understand that y'all got to stop trying to raise these children alone. Because you don't like the daddy. You mad with the daddy. You don't like the daddy. This does not make sense. These children need their father. They need that structure. Because you mad with him. You don't want him around these kids and raising these children. And I'm not saying that the father is perfect or whatever. He was trying to be with the kids. I'm not saying none of that. Okay? I don't know anything about that. I'm not saying anything crazy about the daddy, but it takes a special type of person to forgive someone who took their son. Who took their son. Regardless of what y'all say about the man, okay? Regardless of what y'all say about him, oh no, it was a show or whatever. Whatever you believe, that's your business. But it takes a special type of man to forgive someone for taking their child. That is painful. That is heartbreaking. But yet again, where did the knife come from? Who really had the knife? In the scuffle, did somebody else have the knife and it fell? And Carmelo got scared and snatched it and picked it up and did whatever he had to do to protect himself from two of these twins. When y'all don't raise these children with their fathers, they grow up and they do nonsense in these streets. You know, one thing that I remember this, I remember hearing this a long time ago. I think it was an owner, a football owner. And I remember they said that anytime they get a quarterback, right? No matter what color the quarterback is, right? The quarterback has to have a mother and a father. He has to be raised by the mother and the father. Let me clarify that. Let me say it again. He has to be raised with the mother and the father. Okay? Because they need a quarterback with a sound mind. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? The quarterback has to have the mother and father raised with them in the home. Like, they can't be just a single mother, single father. No, they want them to be in the home. The mother and father has to be in the home for this man to be the quarterback. Why? Because there's a balance. There's a balance. See, the ones who don't have the father in the home and it's just the mama, those are the ones who got the rage. They got the rage, baby. Those are the ones who block and protect the quarterback. I never understood that. I was like, why? That doesn't make sense. What if one of the ones who is raised with the single mama, that he's, he might be better than the other quarterback. I mean, the quarterback that got the two parents, right? Right? No. They don't care about that. They need the one who is the quarterback to make sound decisions. So if you're raised in a healthy two-parent home, you're going to make sound decisions. You take a child who has been raised in a two-parent home, they make better decisions than the one who's been raised by their mama. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. It's the truth. I don't care what color they are. It's the truth. So when I sat and thought about that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because my oldest son, who is 30 years old, when he played football when he was young, they put him out there and they put him to block everybody. Like, block everybody from getting to the quarterback. So remember I was asking the coach, this was a long time ago, I was asking the coach, I said, why do you always grab my son, I think it was, the hood. I said, why do you always grab his helmet like real tight? He said, because I'm trying to make him cry. I said, what? He said, yeah, I'm trying to make him cry. So when I make your son cry, he's better on the field. He said, if I let him stay happy, he won't play for me. But if I get the rage in him, he will knock everybody down like a tractor trailer. And I never understood that. Back in the day, I was mad with the coach. I was like, why would you, And then my son said, Mommy, he does it so that I can get out there and I could take everybody down. I said, okay. So this is why they put the ones who are with the single mamas out on the field like that to protect the quarterback. Because they need the rage in the boys. NFL, listen, playing football is a hard sport. I don't care what nobody say. That is a hard sport. Because you need these ones on the field to be like monsters. To go to war like it's a whole war going on. Our son who plays football, the second one, okay? My oldest one is not by my husband. But my second son, right? Okay, he plays football, right? And he said, Ma, the way these boys curse you out and this and that, he said, Ma, I never seen nothing like that. Mind you, this is the one that's raised in a two-parent home. He was like, Mama, I never seen nothing like that. He said, I went and told the coach, like, this guy cursing me out and this and that. And the coach said, that's how you do. You got to get in here and curse him out too. He said, Mama, it'd be hard for me because I'm not used to saying all this stuff to these to people. I'm not disrespectful like that. And I told him, I said, I understand. It's just he needs y'all to get these people upset. And he said, Ma, I don't know, I'm trying this and that, whatever, because he was raised in a two-parent home. So he's not getting the connection like his brother did. His brother would be like on fire. Like 1 week before we get to the game. You understand? Before we get to the game, my son would tell me, Mama, he'll talk about something that happened. And then you see his face like just light up, like, like he ready. Like, I'm like, why are you upset? He said, Ma, I got to get my game face on. Then all of a sudden I see the coach. Every game, the coach would grab his helmet and pull him like this. Like pull him back and forth to get him, angry. And this boy would get on the field and this boy would just hammer people, like just knock them down like a tractor trailer. And all I'm saying to y'all is that this is what I'm saying. I know some of y'all might be upset with me tonight, but this is what I'm saying to y'all. The Metcalf twins are, the story that is told is that they were the good children. and that Carmelo Anthony was the monster, that he started all these things. But when we get to the nitty gritty of this whole thing, and I know a lot of content creators will not push the truth. They're going to push the lie because the lie sounds better. Most content creators, when they get out here and tell a story, and they may not have all the story, but the lie sounds better. You're going to get more following from the lie. And I'm going to share something with you. Take Heed does not want to be one of those content creators that I get more following from the lie. I'd rather the truth be told than the lie. So now Take Heed wants to apologize to Carmelo Anthony's family, because that was my mindset was that Carmelo was the problem. But when we listen to the story, the Metcalf twins were the true problem. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't believe nobody should be sent to glory. I wish that the grown people who were there, the coach, the teachers, whoever were there, I wish they would have intervened. And this would have never happened. And my condolences to the Metcalf family as well. You understand? I want to say my condolences to them. I shouldn't say as well, but my condolences to them, because nobody should lose their child. Nobody should lose their child. It's painful to have to bury your child. That no parent dreams of that. But when we don't raise these children properly under a man of substance, when we don't choose wisely, my sisters, from every color, when we do not choose wisely, we rob these babies of having a sound mind father. We rob them. Sometimes we get in here, we have babies by men that they don't even want these kids. I watched the other day, a Caucasian man was screaming on his wife. They just got married. He was screaming on his wife and telling her, "You trapped me. You trapped me. I told you I didn't want no kids right now. You trapped me." Now I'm going to share something with you. If the husband and wife has an agreement that children are not to come right now because they're not financially stable, y'all supposed to keep that agreement until things get better. Now, can I say that she trapped him? I don't want to say she trapped him, because that's your wife. That's your wife. I can't get in there and be like, "Oh, she trapped you." That's your wife. You're going to screw her without protection. The thing is that my sisters from every color, do you know how good it feels to have children with a man who wants those kids? It is nothing like it. It is nothing like it. You understand? It is nothing like it to be with a man who wants children. So when you get pregnant, he understands the assignment. A man who wants to raise his children, it is nothing like it. Hey, Messy, how are you, honey? There's nothing like it. You understand? Guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to Messy Mashawn, where the content is always fire and the truth. The uncomfortable truth is that all this foolery happened because when these children are not raised with men of substance, they grow up and do nonsense. We all sat up here and was like, the Carmelo Anthony family got this money. They didn't get the money. They didn't get the money. This is why they need a public defender. We all was clowning the parents and this and that, and they ain't even get the money. A lot of y'all content creators was like, yeah, Lost, how are you, honey? Guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to Lost in Translation podcast as well, where the content is always fire. We up here clowning them. They didn't even get the money. Everybody was talking about the house, the car. They been had that. They asked for help, and now because everybody been reporting the GoFundMe or whatever, the money is frozen. The money is frozen. They haven't received the money, but everybody on social media, all the content creators have been pushing that they got the money, and they just took the money and led this boy to slaughter because the false narrative is better than the truth. Now, I know tonight a lot of y'all will be unfollowing me because of what I said. And I want to first let you know, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't care. I want to be a content creator that tell the truth, then push a lie. Okay? So when anything else come out, I will come up here and say something. Okay? Now remember, this is alleged. We have to actually find out the truth when they start the case anyway. Okay? But I want us to understand something. All of us on social media, we already know that when children are not raised with their father, they are missing something. They won't, and let's understand this. When boys are not raised, we want to say boys. When boys are not raised with their father, they will not get the proper teaching that they need. You have grown men on social media that tell you that something they should have learned when they were in their teens, they learn when they're in their late 20s and 30s. Their teaching the logic is not there. There are a lot of content creators on social media right now that you watch. You can tell who was raised with their father, and you can tell who had to learn how to be a man. You can tell the difference between a lot of the content creators on social media who was raised with their daddies, who was raised with their daddy, and who was not. Their logic is different. Some of them got their mama logic, and the ones who are the men of substance, they got their daddy logic. Now, don't get me wrong. The ones who have their mama logic, they can break free from that. But they have to take time to look within themselves and change. So, that's just my take on it. Okay? That's just my take on it. And if anybody feel offended about what I said, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care one bit. Because the truth is still the truth. I don't care what color the child is. If they're not raised with their father, that child is a nightmare walking. They're missing something inside. A lot of women will say that they're not missing nothing. I raised my boy into a man, and you don't even know what a man looks like. You yourself don't know what a man looks like. Y'all raise these boys into being the man that you desire. Y'all raise these boys, let me repeat it again. Y'all raise these boys to be the man that you desire. And they come out here and be a nightmare for women. They come out here and be a nightmare for women where they can't even take accountability for their actions just like women do. That it's easy for them to run away from their responsibilities. anytime I hear a man that say, "Oh, those children will find me when they get older. They'll come look for me when they get older." Okay? Anytime I hear that, right? You know what? I'm just and I hear this too. You know what? I'ma just wait. Eventually, you know what I'm saying? Eventually something to kick off and I'll be able to see my kids, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. Or you know what? When I hear this, you know what? I don't have no time for Keisha. I don't have no time for Lisa. I don't have no time for Mary or whatever. Um, I'm not gonna take care of those kids. I'm gonna just do whatever I want to do, and that's it. When I hear men talk like that, I immediately know they were raised by their mama. I immediately know they were raised by their mama. When you get out here and you let your offspring just go out in the world and do whatever, and you never check on your offspring and you just let them just do whatever, get into all types of bullshit and stuff because you can't stand the mama, that's when you got to go to court and get in there and be like, I need to see my baby. I need to be able to see my baby. Whatever I need to do to see my baby, that's what I'm going to do. Because I need to be in this child's life. I don't want this child to later come to me and say, you were not there. See, some of y'all brothers who y'all get in here and be like, the child will see me when they get older. The child gonna see you when they get older. They gonna see you when they get older. But it may not be what you think. It may not be that, oh, they ready to hear your side. Some children don't want to hear your side. Some children will just leave you where you at. So, the uncomfortable truth. Oh, I see I got a child in here. Wait a minute. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Debbie, I don't know why you here, baby. I keep telling YouTube that I don't allow children in my chat. I don't know why you here, baby. You need to go get you some crackers and some milk and stuff. Maybe go lay down. You know, I always tell YouTube, don't let children come to my chat. I always say that. I don't know why. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. I always say that. The uncomfortable truth is that mama, a lot of the things that happen to these children, it's because of you. I know a lot of y'all women don't want to believe this, but it's because of you. Yahweh gives women a particular job. We have a couple jobs to do on this earth. And a lot of us don't do the job like what we're supposed to. Mm-hmm. We give life. We give lineage to men who are undeserving. Do you know what it is? And maybe some of y'all don't understand. But when you are giving birth, do you know you are 3 steps from heaven's door? To have your bones open the way that it does, you are 3 steps from heaven's door. And we give babies to men who are undeserving. There are a lot of men in this world right now that we have given babies to continue Pookie and Rere lineage. This is from every color. That we continue their lineage. When the men of substance with the king mindset is supposed to have their lineage to continue. We rob these babies when we get in here and mess with men who are not of substance. We rob these babies. We straight up rob them when we don't choose men who are, excuse me, when we don't choose men that have a king logic, that have king logic. We screw these babies up. Do you know the stuff that children have to go through when they go to school and have to encounter other children who have fathers? That they never get to see their father. It's heartbreaking. And then you have a lot of women on social media that tell you, oh, it's easy to go have a baby. Go get you a vial, a sperm, and have the baby. Without the daddy. Because you want a baby so bad. My sisters from every color, you're selfish. You are selfish. You're selfish. I watched a sister come to social media. She said, I don't want to co-parent. I just want to go and have my baby, go get my procedure done, and raise my baby on my own. I don't want to co-parent. She was bigging up not co-parenting. And the women in the comment section were like, that's right, I don't want to co-parent. And then until the child get big and start whooping on your ass, mama. Let's be clear. And the child get big and start trying to whoop on your ass, then you want the daddy. Y'all always want the daddy after the child get out of control. Not while the child is young and understand that the father is the head. You don't want that. You want to raise the child all on your own. And then when the child get old enough to start beating on you and breaking up your windows and tearing up your house, now you want to call the daddy. What the daddy gonna do? Because the child don't fear the daddy. What the daddy gonna do? This whole story that we talking about when we talking about Carmelo Anthony and we talking about Austin Metcalf. Let's be clear. Both of these children, they all have hiccups. All of them have hiccups and make mistakes and do nonsense. Especially with the rifles and the peace be still. I don't like that when children take pictures like that, and y'all parents, y'all supposed to monitor when children do stupid shit like this. Okay? You supposed to monitor stuff like this. Not let these kids do foolery. But hands down, Taki will always tell you, raising children in a 2-parent home is better than raising them with 1 parent. And why is Taki saying this? Because I've been on 2 sides of the coin. And the children who are raised with the father, I'm not saying that the children are perfect, but they're more stable than the ones who are not raised with the daddy. Now I know I'm getting some hateration. I know a lot of y'all might be upset with me. I don't give a damn. I don't care. That's the truth. I just because I'm saying it, go check the study. The study tell you that children are raised better with both parents. And that comes into play. And I know some of y'all are gonna say, well, what if the father is doing this and he's like this? That mean that's your fault, mama. You chose wrongly. It's your fault. Everybody ain't supposed to get a taste of that cootie cat. You ain't supposed to be passing that but JJ around like the collection plate. Now, I'm done. Everybody have a good night. Okay? Everybody have a good night. God willing, I see y'all tomorrow in the morning for our live show in the morning. I just want to say something to y'all. Let's be open to this situation of Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf situation. May his soul rest in peace. This was a horrible situation and this thing had went left. But when these boys are raised with men of substance, they think differently. Y'all take heed to the message. Thank you for the $5 donation, my dear. I greatly appreciate it. If you're still in the chat, thank you. Much love to y'all all. Everybody have a good night. Okay? Take heed to the message, everybody.